All right, episode 18. The Waterbending Master. Finally! It only took 18 episodes. Do you think the Fire Nation purpose of waging war can be justified? Do you think war can ever be justified? That's the better question. I don't know about you, but after what I've seen, I don't think war can be justified. War is hell. In fact, it's actually worse than hell. I don't think it can be justified. Especially looking at human history and the many reasons that people went to war. I'm struggling to find a single one that's justified. Because there's always been enough food. There's always been enough water. There's always been enough land. And even when there was plenty of land, and I'm talking plenty. We weren't always a country of billions of people. No, sorry, country, I mean a planet. We weren't always a planet of billions of people. Even when there weren't billions of people and there was so much land, people went to war. I mean, you look at the earliest skeletons of humans found, and they have rocks and spear tips and stuff, in their skeletons. People would kill, obviously for greed, for, goods, women, jealousy, like the stupidest shit. A war is just someone with the influence and the power to convince other poor motherfuckers to kill and die for their cause. And then it gets to a scale with monarchs where the monarch doesn't even fight, and the poor bloody peasants working the farms and the fields get conscripted to fight on behalf of some fat asshole sitting in a keep, eating himself to death. That's worse than being unjustifiable. That's sickening. And it still happens to this very day. Young people get sent to war. People that can't find jobs elsewhere sign up to the military. People that can't afford a university education sign up to the military for a education grant or a reprieve. People that get sentenced to prison sentences because they cannot afford proper legal representation take the military option as a way to keep out of prison. It's not the wealthy going to war. They're the ones that get the medical exemptions to not go to war. Or when they do go to war, they get a cushy position in a bunker somewhere while the young people die. So do I think war is justifiable? Fuck no. I hope that answers your question. War is horrible. Battle is horrible. That's when all the shit happens. Like, people talk about, it's a fight for peace. Bull fucking shit. War for peace is like fucking for virginity. And my favorite is when they use religion as an excuse. Oh, God wants us to have this land. Sorry, I must have read a different book. Can't even, man. Can't even. Anyway, let's get back to Avatar.
Water. Earth. Fire. Air. Long ago, the four nations lived together in harmony. Then, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Only the Avatar, master of all four elements, could stop them. But when the world needed him most, he vanished. 100 years passed and my brother and I discovered the new Avatar, an airbender named Aang. And although his airbending skills are great, he has a lot to learn before he's ready to save anyone. But I believe Aang can save the world.
I mean, look at the situation today. Every politician out there really betting on sending us to World War III. Because all of the politicians have stocks and shares in the military complex that produces the weapons. When the US goes to a war zone, they don't take their weapons back. They leave them there because it's more expensive to ship them than it is to buy new stock, which is exactly what happened in Afghanistan. So every time the US enters a new war zone, they buy a new set of equipment, tanks, and weapons. What happens? Anyone that owns shares in the companies that mass produce them gets a huge dividend payout. Who are the shareholders of those companies? Look at the US Senate. They own so many shares in weapons, weapon producing and manufacturers and companies like that. And guess who are the ones that are voting for billions of dollars to be sent? The very people that fucking own the shares in those companies. So yeah, they make a fuck ton of money by sending your money into war zones. If they wanted a peacekeeping operation, they could have sent in the troops, literally forced a ceasefire. But they don't. Because the objective is not stopping the conflict, it's prolonging it. Why would you stop the war when you could keep selling the ammunition? The same way, why would you cure a disease when you keep selling the pills for it? Which is why pharmaceuticals have a 300 to 400% profit margin on pills. The pharmaceutical industry does it, the education industry does it, the war industry does it. People are getting fucked left, right, and center. In more ways than one. And then they get fucked by the economy itself because inflation debases the value of the dollar in their pocket. Your money is worth less because they keep printing more of it. And what do they do with it? They fucking give it to their cronies on either Wall Street or the banks or the corporations that do the entire circle jerk. And what do? They lobby. They bribe them. A legal bribe is called lobbying. Or they buy one of Hunter Biden's paintings for $500,000. It's cyclical. It has been happening for more than 100 years. And no one's done jack shit about it. It's literally a cycle. It is a literal cycle that has been repeating for more than 100 years. And it's easy to see what next is going to happen. Because we've already been down this road before. It just goes in a cycle. You start a war, you sell the arms, the people that have invested in it get rich, the poor people die, you get some inflation, you get economic troubles, you get stimulus by printing more cash, you cause inflation fucks everyone, the rich get richer because all of their assets are worth more, you increase the interest rates, which means all the people that have mortgages start losing their homes, they get repossessed, the rich people buy them for pennies on the dollar, then they rent them out to the poor people that can't afford rent, education gets more expensive, healthcare gets more expensive, your taxes go up, the rich people don't pay any taxes, you get fucked even more, and the cycle continues. And we blame someone else. You blame the communists, you blame the fucking terrorists, you blame the Russians, fucking flavor of the month. Same thing in a fucking cycle. Hasn't changed. Same shit. Open a history book. Same shit. Over and over and over and over. Tell me I'm wrong. Is that a fucking koala? That's like half a koala, half an otter. What the hell? Is this Australia? It's like a koala otter.
I'm not one to complain, but can't Appa fly any higher?
I have an idea. Why don't we all get on your back and you can fly us to the North Pole?
I'd love to. Climb on, everyone. Sokka is ready for takeoff.
Look, we're all just a little tired and cranky because we've been flying for 2 days straight.
And for what? We can't even find the Northern Water Tribe. There's nothing up here.
Looks like they
They're
found you.
waterbenders. We found the water tribe.
They found you.
He's heading north. The Northern Water Tribe. The Avatar needs to master waterbending. He's looking for a teacher.
Oh my god, it took you fucking 18 episodes to figure it out. Maybe by next season you'll figure out what other element he needs to master.
Then what are we waiting for? Let's go get him!
Patience, Captain Lee. This isn't some little Earth village we can just march into. The Water Tribe is a great nation. There's a reason they've survived 100 years of war.
See, this guy's played Pokemon. He understands. You pick Charmander, you get fucked by Misty.
The frozen tundra is treacherous. The landscape itself is an icy fortress. We'll need a massive invasion force.
Why do you need a massive invasion force? Why do you need to invade it at all?
There it is!
The Northern Water Tribe.
You can literally melt the shit out of it.
We're finally here.
Or, because he needs to master all 4 elements, you could focus on one of the elements, making sure he doesn't master all of them. So you pick Bulbasaur? Nobody picks Bulbasaur.
I can't believe how many waterbenders live up here.
We'll find a master to teach us, no problem.
Can't Appa just literally fly up the wall? Wait, sub-only mode isn't on. Everyone's been commenting the entire time. Is he getting towed? Is Appa getting towed? Appa's getting towed. Oh, there's a girl. No, wait, that's a granny. No, that's a girl. Go for it, son.
This place is beautiful.
Go for it, son. I believe in
He
you.
is.
I believe in you, son. Go for it. She's in one of them fancy boats.
Winter, spring, summer and fall. Winter, spring, summer and fall. 4 seasons, 4 loves. 4 seasons, 4 love.
Oh god, they're gonna fuck up this too. Seriously? They can't let the man finish his song? Oh, they're getting a feast?
Tonight, we celebrate the arrival of our brother and sister from the Southern Tribe. And they have brought with them someone very special, someone whom many of us believed disappeared from the world until now. The Avatar.
Can I just say this is an amazing reception?
We also celebrate my daughter's 16th birthday.
Oh shit!
Princess Yue is now of marrying age.
You know what? We need to get a marriage arranged to improve relations between the northern and the southern water tribe. We need to, you know what I mean? This is a negotiation. These are the days of, you know, marrying people for political alliances. You gotta sell that the southern water tribe is a kingdom, you know, like a really big one. You gotta really sell this, right? You gotta sell this! You gotta land this plane, son!
Thank you, Father. May the great ocean and moon spirits watch over us during these troubled times.
Now, Master Paku and his students will perform.
You see, oh yeah, this guy was in the opening. But you gotta sell that you are one of the best sailors from the Southern Water Tribe, and you're gonna be the naval commander of the Southern Water Tribe. You just gotta make sure not to mention that you are the Navy. You know, you gotta sell this. It's gotta be like your LinkedIn profile. You know what I mean? You gotta bullshit your way through it. That's how you get it. It's like applying for a job.
Hi there, Sokka, Southern Water Tribe.
Very nice to meet you.
So, you're a princess, huh? You know, back in my tribe, I'm kind of like a prince myself.
Prince of what?
A lot of things.
I swear to God, do not cock block him. I swear to God.
Do you mind? I'm trying to have a conversation here.
My apologies, Prince Sokka.
So it looks like I'm gonna be in town for a while. I'm thinking maybe we could do an activity together?
Do an activity?
Very smooth.
Master Paku.
I mean, the fact that she sat next to him and is talking to him means that she's interested. But why are you stuffing your face? You see, you oldies that have been here for a while know this story. But when I first asked Hutchin out, you know where I took her? I took her to Pancakes on the Rocks. Let me get this up. So I took Miss Hutchin to Pancakes on the Rocks with the specific intent of, one, feeding her, but two, let's see, pizza, crepes, and famous pancakes. Cool. So, first of all, because Hutchin no inglesi at that time, we got some pork ribs. Really good shit. I think they were beef ribs. I think they were pork ribs. I remember it being pork ribs. Anyway, it was pork ribs because they're very messy. So pork ribs, as you can imagine, ribs very messy with the potato wedges with some sour cream on the side. And then we also had, these are the different pizzas. I think they had like different pizzas. There was like a prawn pizza. Where's the prawn pizza? I don't think they have the prawn pizza anymore. It's pretty stupid. But they had a prawn pizza. It was very good. And then we also got a, where was it? The seafood crepe. Very nice. And then for dessert, we had the Devil's Delight. Where's the Devil's Delight? Chocolate peanut butter. No. Vanilla and strawberry. No. There it is. Devil's Delight. Beautiful. Magnifique. Look at this beautiful pancake. Chocolate pancake with rich chocolate ice cream. A little bit of vanilla whipped cream with some strawberries. Anyway, we started off with the ribs. Now, imagine Hutchin. You know, you all know Hutchin, how cute she is. With this rack of ribs in front of her. And she's trying to eat it with a knife and fork, right? She's trying not to get messy and, you know, be all nice and shit. And I'm just like, you gotta eat it with your fingers. So I grab it with a finger and I eat it a little bit. And so she starts stuffing her face. It gets all like messy and everything. And it's embarrassing and blah, blah, blah. It's like, all right, cool. Now we got the awkwardness out of the way. I've seen you eat like an animal. I've eaten like an animal. We're in a good place. See, you gotta get that shit out of the way nice and, you know, nice and up front. Get them to embarrass themselves, you know? And then they feel comfortable around you. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. You gotta give them something different and you gotta make them feel at ease. That's how you do it. You know, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Real talk. Why are crepes so goddamn expensive? I went to Thailand and crepes is about $150 and in the UK they're all about €550. Okay, so you need to look at cost of production. And by that, I don't mean the ingredients. That's partially it. So look at it this way, right? Ingredients in Australia are significantly more expensive. Of course, you can clip that. Go for it. Ingredients in Australia are significantly more expensive than ingredients in Thailand. Reason being why? In Thailand, they're going to source local ingredients. In Australia, there's going to be a lot of importing. A lot of it's going to come from the countryside in Australia, which means it needs to be driven there by truck. So again, you're paying the Australian price because the Australian price of the importer, the trucker, the farmer, the retailer, the delivery, the sales tax, all that shit is going to push up the price. Then you also have to take a look at the location of the restaurant. Where's the restaurant located? Darling Harbour? Holy shit. You know what the rent is in Darling Harbour for a restaurant that size? You're lucky to be paying anything less than 5-6 grand a week. 5-6 grand a week. That's just your rent. Then you got to pay your workers. Minimum wage for waiter, waitress is about $21 to $23 an hour. Monday to Saturday. Saturday is 1.5 times the hourly rate. Sunday is 2 to 2.5 times the rate. Then anything over $450, you have to pay an additional $10 superannuation. That's for your workers. On top of that, you're going to end up paying your chef. And you can't go cheap on the chef, because if your chef is shit, your food is shit. If your food is shit, you lose your customers. So you got to have a chef. Then you got to have a backup chef in case the chef is sick. Then you need to have a manager. Then you need someone to do your taxes. That all costs you an hourly rate. Then if you want to sell alcohol, which everyone expects these days, you need an RSA. To get an RSA liquor license, costs more than $200,000 a year in Australia. $200,000 a year for a license to just sell alcohol. And then you got to buy the alcohol, which is expensive in Australia because there's alcohol tax. So if I want to go buy a bottle of Smirnoff in Japan, I can buy it for $10 a litre. If I try to buy it in Australia, I'm looking at $70 a litre. Why? Importation, taxes, delivery, and bullshittery. And that is why Australia is more expensive than Thailand. More industrial-based society equals less food. Less industrial-based economics, more rural farmland, more food, less food, and labor costs on top of expenses involved with doing business in more. Okay, so yes and no. Australia has a lot of land, a lot of farmland too, and we produce a lot of things. We produce a lot. I'll use this as an example. Lobster. We buy lobster now in Australia for $25 each. It used to be $100. Why? Because China used to buy it. I went to fucking Japan and I bought salmon. New Zealand salmon that you can eat raw for $35 a kilo in Japan. At a Costco in Japan for $35 a kilo. I can't buy that in Sydney for under $70 a kilo. Why? Because Australia and New Zealand exports their best goods to the global market. The local goods we get are shit. It is a bit of economics, it is a bit of geopolitics, and it's also a bit of bullshittery. Because they know they could sell a shit. Welcome to corporate greed. Like, in business, you literally do the math. And they do the math. And I've been in corporate, multiple companies that know how to do it. They do the math. I worked for PepsiCo, which is Schweppes, Pepsi, all that stuff. I've also worked for telecommunications and worked for everything. And they do the numbers. What's our profit margin at this price point and this volume? What's our price point and profit margin at this point and this volume? I worked for PepsiCo at the time. And at the time, they used to sell Pepsi in Australia for $1 a litre. That was their price point. $1 for a litre. And their volume was X amount. And what they would do is they would price it in the store at like $2 a litre. But then every second week, they would put it on sale for $1 a litre because that's the target price point. And then it would alternate between one big supermarket chain and the other supermarket chain. So it's on special in one chain and not in the other one. And then the next week, it's special in the other one and not this one. And then Coca-Cola would do the exact same thing in opposite. So when Pepsi's on sale, Coke is not on sale. When Coke is on sale, Pepsi's not on sale. Now, I'm not saying they're working together. I'm just saying what happened. I'm not insinuating anything. I'm just saying that they somehow perfectly coordinated to never have both of the beverages on sale at the same time. Now, that's not market collusion. That's just coincidence. But anyway, I'm not insinuating anything. That would be defamation. But their price point was $1 a liter. I was working at PepsiCo at the time. And then when I was sitting at one of the state meetings and whatnot, they closed down one of the factories in Melbourne that was producing the boxes that they use to ship the bottles and the cans and the cases, right? They shut them down. And I was like, uh-oh. They're shutting down one of the factories that produces the boxes. Not even 3 months later, they fired more than 100 territory managers. Because they no longer needed like the production bays, where you used to go to a supermarket and you used to have like all this Pepsi or something, like this whole stand of like rugby footballers coming on, grab a Pepsi and stuff. That's what the territory managers used to look after. They got rid of all of them. They said, fuck off to that. Then they increased the price of Pepsi to $2 a liter. And when it's on special, when it's on special, it's around $1.50. When it's not on special, it's $2.50. So they increased the price point. But they did the math to know that the sales volume would go down. Less people would buy it. But their profit margin would be higher because they'd be getting more money per sale. Plus, they would have to produce less bottles. Plus, they would have to do less shipping. Plus, they'd have to produce less cardboard, which means they saved expenses. So by increasing the price and selling less, they could maintain their profit margin the same. They didn't increase it, they kept it the same and fired a bunch of people too. What did Coca-Cola do? They raised their price by the same amount that Pepsi raised their price, keeping the gap exactly the same. Now, I'm not saying they're working together. I'm just telling you what happened. So yes, companies do the math. They figure out how they can maximize their profits, and that's the price they go with. I'll give you another example. Gin. There used to be 2-3 gin beverages in alcohol shops from America and Australia, and they used to have 2-3 brands of gin. And then a Japanese gin brand entered the market. They were selling gin at $7 a liter. $7 a liter. Now, I'm not going to say which gin this was, but you're probably thinking of the same gin that I am from Japan. They introduced it into the market and no one would buy it because they thought it was shit because it seemed cheap. And you know what the sneaky fuckers at Japan did? They just added a zero. It went from $7 a liter to $70 a liter. They didn't change the bottle. They didn't change the name. They didn't change anything. They just increased the zero. They just added a zero from $7 a liter to $70 a liter. And guess what? Now it's one of the most popular gin brands in the alcohol shop and the bar. It's considered a exquisite premium gin because of the price point. Human psychology is fucked. They price anchor it with the premium brand, and people assume it's quality based on the price. Because humans are fucking stupid. They think price is an indicator of quality. They never actually turn around to see what the ingredients are. It's the same reason why cans are 375 mils, pet bottles are 1.25 liters. Because they don't want you working out the price of per liter. They don't want you to compare how much this can costs versus this bottle. That's why they give you these measurements which are really hard to calculate. 3.75 a liter, 1.25 liter, 2.6 liter. Or the skinny cans, 285 milliliters. How the fuck do I calculate that shit? How many fucking cans in a pet bottle? Because they don't want you to be able to do the price calculation in your head. That's why. Have you noticed how when there's an increase in cost, they lower the size? Remember when you used to be able to get those Cadbury chocolate bars for 500 grams a bar? Then it went to 450 grams, then 400 grams, but the price stayed the same? Because they know people are sensitive to raising the price. So they just lower the amount. It gets smaller and smaller and smaller, but the price hasn't changed. So it's like, oh, it's a little bit smaller, but yeah, it's $2, $3, $4. That's how companies do it. Because they know they can get away with it. So yes, we do get fucked in Australia. We get fucked hard. We get bent over a barrel and fucked. And then inflation fucks you too, because it's a hidden tax by debasing the currency. And who's responsible for that? Well, the fucking banks and the reserve banks, of course. They keep introducing more money into the system. So any money that you have loses its value by the inflation. So if the inflation is 2%, your money loses 2% of its value every fucking year. That's a hidden tax, by the way, that you won't get back. So yes, we get fucked. All right. Now that we've gotten that out of the way. Can we get back to Sokka hitting on some chick? All right, back to Sokka hitting on, what's her name? Lavenza? Or what's that girl's name in Fire Emblem Three Houses? You know, the white-haired chick. What was her name? There's Lavenza and there's the other one. I forgot her name. Lucia? I forgot her name. You know, the blonde girl in Fire Emblem Three Houses. Yui? No, I don't mean this girl's name. I'll never remember that. But I mean, like, what was the... Lysithea. There you go. That's the one. So we have Lavenza and Lysithea. No wonder the Fallout universe decided to use bolo caps as a currency. Guys, you do know that the currency and the money that you have in your hands is absolutely worthless if no one believes it has any value, right? It's not worth anything. It's worth whatever people believe it's worth. Before, it used to be backed by gold. You used to be able to take your $100 bill, take it to a bank and get $100 worth of gold. Now they won't do that because it's not backed by anything. You could use anything as a form of currency. Like drawings of monkeys. It's worth as much as people believe it's worth.
Thinking maybe we could do an activity together?
Do an activity?
Very smooth.
Master Paku, meet your newest student, the Avatar.
Just because you're destined to save the world, don't expect any special treatment.
My friend and I can't wait to start training with you. After we relax for a couple of days.
If you want to relax, then I suggest visiting a tropical island. If not, I'll see you both at sunrise.
Imagine that, rocking up to a master of something and saying, we'll start in a couple of days after we finish relaxing. But Brownie points to Aang, not forgetting that the girl wanted to also train. Aang is such a kid.
Good night.
For the last time, I'm not playing the Sungi horn.
No, it's about our plans. There's a bit of a problem.
Did this guy come to get his ass kicked again?
I'm taking your crew.
What?
I've recruited them for a little expedition to the North Pole.
Uncle, is that true?
I'm afraid so. He's taking everyone. Even the cook.
Sorry you won't be there to watch me capture the Avatar. But I can't have you getting in my way again.
Oh!
Oh no! Why do you just have them fucking hanging there? Oh fuck. Zuko, we need to talk. You can't put your illegal weapons on display. Alright? Oh!
I didn't know you were skilled with broadswords, Prince Zuko.
I'm not. They're antiques. Just decorative.
Have you heard of the Blue Spirit, General Iroh?
Just rumors. I don't think he is real.
He's real, all right. He's a criminal and an enemy of the Fire Nation. But I have a feeling justice will catch up with him soon. General Iroh, the offer to join my mission still stands, if you change your mind.
I really hate when people just grab your swords. You have to reapply the oil now because they got their fucking hands on it. Everyone does that when they come in here. They grab my fucking King Bradley swords and they're like, oh, look at this blade. I'm like, motherfucker, it already started developing rust. I have to fucking oil it again. Stop touching my shit. You know what? Next time, I'm gonna sharpen it to a razor's edge. Yeah, you fucking touch the edge, you're gonna cut yourself, you asshole. God damn it. I did that with one of my knives, and then people kept cutting themselves. Like, oh, this is so sharp. It's a fucking knife. Why are you touching the edge? Fuck's sake.
I've waited for this day my whole life. I finally get to learn from a real waterbending master.
Good morning, Master Paku!
No, please, march right in. I'm not concentrating or anything.
This is my friend, Katara. The one I told you about?
For display only, that's how my grandmother got her spears through customs, called them a shower rod. That's what basically some of our sensei did from the dojo. So you're not actually allowed to export katanas that are made in Japan. It's illegal. But they basically bought a few from a blacksmith in Japan because the martial arts community has connections. So they got brand new blades created in Japan using ore from the mountain, which you're not allowed to export. And so they basically fucking wrapped them up. And then they said they were decorative things they bought from a store in Akihabara. And the fucking customs people didn't know the difference between a high carbon katana and fucking stainless steel. And so they passed it right through. And I'm just like, you are an embarrassment to your people. You don't know the difference between stainless steel and high carbon. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm sorry. I think there's been a misunderstanding. You didn't tell me your friend was a girl.
What difference does that make?
In our tribe, it is forbidden for women to learn waterbending.
Oh! Fuck! This tribe is back in the fucking Stone Age! Holy shit! Oh yeah, Katara is about to seize the memes of production. And yes, I know that I said memes. Katara is about to fuck shit up.
What do you mean you won't teach me? I didn't travel across the entire world so you could tell me no.
No.
But there must be other female waterbenders in your tribe.
Here, the women learn from Yagoda to use their waterbending to heal. I'm sure she would be happy to take you as her student, despite your bad attitude.
I don't want to heal, I want to fight.
I can see that. But our tribe has customs, rules.
Well, your rules stink.
Yeah, they're not fair. If you won't teach Katara, then...
Then what?
Then I won't learn from you.
Well, have fun teaching yourself. I'm sure you'll do a great job.
Wait, Aang didn't mean that. You can't risk your training for me. You have to learn from Master Paku.
Here's a crazy idea. You learn and then you teach her.
Even if he is a big jerk.
I mean, you mastered the technique she taught you within like, what, 5 seconds? And then you simplified it. So why can't you teach her on the side?
Why don't we get started then?
Princess Yue, good morning! Hey, how about that picnic last night? Boy, your dad sure knows how to throw a party.
I'm happy you enjoyed yourself.
Well, it wasn't as much fun after you left. So, I'm still hoping we can see more of each other.
Do an activity, you mean?
See more of each other? Uh-huh.
Yes, at a place. For some time.
Oh yeah, she's got you wrapped around her finger.
I'd love to. I'll meet you on that bridge tonight.
Great! I'll see you now!
Ugh.
Sorry.
That's okay. It was worth it. See you tonight.
My boy, my boy, my boy, my boy, my boy. My boy. My boy. She needs to be thinking about you, not you thinking about her. Yeah. I know you don't want to play the game, but girls love to play the game. You know, male dogs like to play with female dogs. But because the male dogs are physically stronger and bigger than female dogs, this is a fact for anyone that has dogs, they are a lot stronger and it's easy for them to win. But if they keep winning, the girl will no longer want to play. So sometimes you gotta let the girl dog win so that she keeps playing the game. So my boy, stop pulling so hard. You gotta give a bit of slack, you know? You gotta be hot and then cold, interested and then not. Play cool, my boy. And yes, he did get her to blush, but you gotta give her a little bit. She's gotta think she has you on the hook, and then you gotta be cold as ice. Then she's gotta chase you a little bit, and then you're like, okay, maybe, sure. You know, you gotta. Okay, but Cheeky would probably kick my dog's ass because she's literally just a carpet. Cheeky. Okay, so Cheeky ran into a Kelpie. And a Kelpie is a Australian sheepdog. It's a farm dog. So you know how Germans have German shepherds and other dogs have, their breeds? So Kelpie is a Australian breed of dog that's used for herding sheep and cattle. And so, it's physically strong, it's big, it's strong, right? And this Kelpie dog was on the street and it had its mouth tied up so it can't bite. But as soon as it saw Cheeky, it went like, and the owner was like pulling it back. And then Cheeky's like, what? And I'm like, Cheeky, I am proud that you have the heart of a lion, but that dog would fuck you up. That dog would fuck you up. Like, we go for a walk and we go past this fence where there's a German shepherd and a husky. And they're basically barking like, and Cheeky goes right up to the fence and she's like, I'm like, Cheeky, for fuck's sake, if they would have jumped that fence, you would be so fucked. Like, Cheeky struggles to bite my finger. Like, I admire the courage, but fuck.
I'm very impressed. You all seem highly qualified for the mission I have in mind.
Who are you to be gauging who is or isn't qualified? Your only qualifications is playing with the balls while you work the shaft.
That's some tasty gold.
What do you need us to do?
I believe you're acquainted with Prince Zuko.
Cheeky is literally me. 5 foot and challenging grown-ass men to battle. Hey, I am teaching Hutchins slowly the ways of martial arts. And it's really simple. If they have balls, kick them. And then run.
Hi. Are you Yagoda?
Are you here for the healing lesson?
I guess I am.
Welcome. Welcome.
You're moving the water around, but you're not feeling the push and pull.
I'm trying.
Maybe that move is too advanced for you. Why don't you try an easier one?
Patience, young Padawan. Patience.
Thanks for the lesson.
So who's the lucky boy?
Huh?
Your betrothal necklace. You're getting married, right?
No, I don't think I'm ready for that yet. My grandmother gave my mother this necklace, and my mother passed it down to me.
Oh, is that what the necklace means?
I recognize this carving. I don't know why I didn't realize sooner. You're the spitting image of Kana.
Wait, how do you know my grand-grand's name?
When I was about your age, I was friends with Kana. She was born here, in the Northern Tribe.
She never told me.
Your grandmother had an arranged marriage with a young waterbender. He carved that necklace for her.
If Grand-Gran was engaged, why did she leave?
I don't know. That's always been a mystery to me. She left without saying goodbye.
Good luck! The crew wanted me to wish you safe travels.
Good riddance to those traitors.
It's a lovely night for a walk. Why don't you join me? It would clear your head. Or just stay in your room and sit in the dark. Whatever makes you happy.
I'm never happy. I'm gonna write poems. Oh, you know, giant metal ship with a firebender inside. Not like all of you would fucking burn to death!
Careful with the blasting jelly. Uncle?
Yeah, welcome to my world of paranoia. Oh shit.
Zuko!
He's either dead or incredibly pissed.
Zuko.
Yeah, he's either dead or incredibly pissed. I mean, he is a firebender, so he could potentially create like a circle of fire that doesn't fire. I don't know, but he could also be dead.
Hi, Princess Yue. I made you something. I carved it myself.
Oh god, you're going too hard, kid.
It's a bear.
Actually, it's supposed to be a fish. See, it has a fin.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have asked you to come here.
What the fuck is this?
How's warrior training going?
The mystery of women. Something I will never understand.
That bad?
No, it's Princess Yue. I don't get it. One minute she wants to go out with me, and the next she's telling me to get lost.
Yeah, she's playing the game.
So how's waterbending training?
Master Poophead won't teach her because she's a girl.
Why don't you just teach her, Aang?
Why didn't I think of that?
'Cause you're an idiot?
At night, you can teach me whatever moves you learn from Master Paku. That way, you have someone to practice with, and I get to learn waterbending. Everyone's happy.
I'm not happy.
Trust me, you'll never be happy. Do yourself a favor and start talking to girls in front of places you know where she'll be. You'll make her jealous, and then surely enough she'll come back to you. Works every time.
But you're never happy. Come on, Aang.
Master Paku said this move is all about sinking and floating.
I got it!
That was amazing!
That wasn't me.
I was just showing Katara a few moves.
You have disrespected me, my teachings, and my entire culture.
I'm sorry,
You are no longer welcome as my student.
Bruh. I mean, when I said you should teach her, I meant, like, later.
What do you want me to do? Force Master Paku to take Aang back as his student?
Yes. Please.
I suspect he might change his mind if you swallow your pride and apologize to him.
Oh! Fuck me, old men can be stubborn.
Fine.
I'm waiting, little girl.
No. No way am I apologizing to a sour old man like you!
Tara?
Powerful she is with the dark side.
I'll be outside if you're man enough to fight me.
Well, she just pulled a Zuko. You know what? I'm shipping her with Zuko. They have a lot in common. Fire, water, combat. I mean, that's spicy. Think of the offspring.
I'm sure she didn't mean that.
Yeah, I think she did.
Oh, yeah. Fuck.
I'm devastated to hear about Prince Zuko. Just devastated.
The Fire Lord will not be pleased when he learns who was responsible.
You know who was behind the attack?
Yes. Pirates. We had a run-in with them a while back. They wanted revenge.
Oh yeah, he is not that stupid. He's feeling him out. He's gonna catch the pirates and then the pirates are gonna squeal on him.
So, have you reconsidered my offer?
Yes, I accept. It will be an honor to serve as your general.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. The hidden blade is always the deadliest.
To the Fire Nation.
To victory!
Just make sure to stab him in the kidney first.
Are you crazy, Katara? You're not gonna win this fight.
I know. I don't care.
You don't have to do this for me. I can find another teacher.
I'm not doing it for you. Someone needs to slap some sense into that guy. So, you decided to show up? Aren't you gonna fight?
Go back to the healing huts with the other women where you belong. Fine. You want to learn to fight so bad? Study closely. Don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you.
Why him?
You can't knock me down! Go, Katara!
Well, I'm impressed. You are an excellent waterbender.
But you still won't teach me, will you?
No.
What was that? Wait, what if he's the guy that her grandmother was supposed to marry? That would be awkward.
This fight is over.
Come back here! I'm not finished yet!
Yes, you are. This is my necklace.
No, it's not. It's mine. Give it back.
I made this 60 years ago. For the love of my life. For Kama.
My grand-gran was supposed to marry you?
So that's why he went monk mode.
Our plan is working perfectly.
Oh yeah, he's pissed.
Zhao doesn't suspect a thing.
You didn't have to do this.
No nephew of mine is going to stow away on a ship without some backup.
Thank you, Uncle.
Someone's coming. Stay hidden until we get to the North Pole and the Avatar will be yours. Good luck.
Oh yeah, he pissed. By the way, if you watch Explosion Scene carefully, he actually does make a fire shield right before the blast hits, saying now that the reveal is done. Ah, see, that's what I would do.
I carved this necklace for your grandmother when we got engaged. I thought we would have a long, happy life together. I loved her.
Why is the princess standing next to Sokka?
But she didn't love you, did she? It was an arranged marriage. Gran wouldn't let your tribe's stupid customs run her life. That's why she left. It must have taken a lot of courage.
Yeah, steal the princess.
Go get her.
What do you want from me?
Oh, this question. This question. Oh, it's a classic.
Nothing. I just want you to know, I think you're beautiful. And I never thought a girl like you would even notice a guy like me.
You don't understand.
No. See, that's the thing. I think I do understand now. You're a princess, and I'm just a southern peasant.
No, Sokka.
It's okay. You don't have to say anything. I'll see you around, okay?
This guy be
now
collecting...
I'm really confused.
See, this kid's collecting kisses from every single nation. He's got that Earth Nation, I think, with the ninjas, and now the Water Nation. Next up, Fire Nation.
Happy, but confused.
I do like you. A lot. But we can't be together. And not for the reason you think. It's because I'm engaged.
Oh, shit!
I'm sorry.
Fuck, we need a... Yeah, but these political engagements can technically be cancelled by the father if a better offer was to come along. Or if the engagee was to die. See, what I learned about best men was that a best man isn't just there to, make sure the groom gets wasted. The best man is also there in case someone objects to the wedding to, fight on behalf of the groom. So you can technically, you know what I mean? If someone objects to the wedding and challenges the groom to a duel, you can fight on behalf of the groom. And I was like, fuck yeah. When I found out, I was like, fuck yeah, I'll be your best man. Rasengan.
Not bad, not bad. Keep practicing and maybe you'll get it by the time you're my age.
And she just turned legal marriage age too, so her engagement must have been after she asked him to meet at the bridge. Fighting at a wedding? Have you never been to a Serbian wedding?
Hey, Katara.
What do you think you're doing? It's past sunrise. You're late.
Good to see you here.
You too.
Aww. I mean, he could do the whole Romeo and Juliet thing.
My fleet is ready. Set a course for the Northern Water Tribe.
The good old spear formation. Katara lost the battle, but she did end up the moral victor. See, that's the thing. You don't necessarily have to win a battle. The point is that you're fighting. And fighting hard. Let's look at it this way. What would have happened if Zuko actually fought his father? And in front of everybody, he turned out to be more capable in combat than the generals. Things might have been very different. Very different. There is an unfortunate sexism within martial arts. There is. And I've seen it firsthand. And it's mostly because when you're training with females, you have to hold back. You have to. And a lot of the time, they don't hit as hard as the males. Though there is one girl in particular from Australia, she beats the living shit out of the guys. And she actually ended up doing the 100-man kumite, which is fighting 100 black belts in succession. After which she was taken to the emergency room. Like during that 100-man kumite, she ended up breaking her fist. So she only had one hand. And she kept going. And by the end of it, she had broken ribs, broken hand, dislocated shoulder, and a mountain of other injuries, and they just took her straight to the emergency room. I can assure you, she earned the respect of every single motherfucker in the martial arts community. She is a beast. But a lot of the other females, even my senpai and some of them are sensei, it's like you'll train with them, but you knowingly hold back because you have to. And so there's a bit of a stigma amongst the guys where it's kind of like, you know, you spar with them, but, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, you know what I mean? And it doesn't help. It turns into a bit of an echo chamber. But the ones that are really good, fuck. Like, fuck. What's the purpose behind the 100 black belts? Is it a tradition? So you had Masayama, who founded Kyokushin, and his way of establishing it was challenging every karate master within Japan, one by one. So he went from one dojo to another, from one art to another, and challenged them all. And then when he ran out of masters to challenge, he was fighting bulls. And he would wrestle bulls and tackle them down and break their horns. It was incredible. And then he made the challenge where he would fight any black belt. Well, it would fight anyone. And about 300, 350-ish people came. And he fought all of them. And he beat all of them. And then when he was out of people to fight, he's like, okay, I'm establishing my dojo now. That's how he did it. So the tradition is basically trying to live up to that. So the old gradings used to be, if you want your black belt, you do your whole black belt grading, which is usually 2-3 hours. You do your fighting, and then you have to do your 20-man kumite at the end of it. 20 black belts and above. And they are there to knock you out. It's their mission to knock you out. So you don't have to win the fight. You have to survive 20 fights. And they are 20 fresh fighters. The whole point is that the black belt is seasoned. He can fight. Not only when he's fresh, but when he's tired and injured. It's a test of spirit, not a test of strength. It's a test of spirit. And it doesn't matter how you do it, you just have to survive 20 fights. That's it. It's not complicated. If you can knock out 20 of the motherfuckers within 2 seconds, go for it. That is also acceptable. But be careful. Because, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, in the West, that has become a bit more lenient. But that's basically the tradition. There's people here that have done their 50-man, and there's a handful of people that have done their 100-man. But the 100-man is fucked. Like, the people that have done it, you just look at them. Like, one of the boys that did it from Australia, he trains the Indonesian military. He trains them in hand-to-hand combat. So he used to be a fighter, he used to compete, he did his 100-man, then he started living in Indonesia, and now he trains the Indonesian military. That's where he gets his cash from. They just bring him in and he trains them hand-to-hand. Like, that is the caliber of person you're dealing with. And you just take a look at him, he is a beast. Will this be on YouTube eventually? Yes. It is on the back of a very long backlog of anime that will be edited and released on YouTube eventually. You know, there's a lot more we're going to release first, but eventually. But it will be on Patreon very quickly. I had a chance to do my black belt theory test for judo, but I didn't take it into account because I felt I wasn't ready yet. You'll pass or you'll learn. You'll pass or you'll learn. There's no shame in learning. I mean, for me, whenever there's a grading at the senior training camp, I always volunteer if they need extra bodies for the kumite at the end to fight. And so they just typically throw me in with the people going for their black belt. I remember this one guy, he was fighting these other people that were going for the black belt, so they were all brown senior, and he was like really aggressive with them. And there was this one older gentleman that was kind of struggling because, you know, he was a bit older, and this young guy that was going for his black belt was kind of like really pushing him back and really hitting him hard, and the old guy was really struggling. And so when it came to swap fighters, I just tapped the guy on the shoulder next to him like, hey, can we swap? And he looked at the guy, was like, yeah, you can have him. And we started fighting, and he tried to hit me really hard, and he ended up hitting me in the gut. I'm like, that's cute. I just went, bam. And he was like, ooh. And then I went again, bam. It was like, ooh. Then I went again, bam. It's like, ooh. Oh, can you slow down a bit? I'm like, no. You didn't slow down for them. So I had fun with him for about 2.5 minutes. After that, he went easy for the rest of the fights. Possibly because he couldn't breathe, but the point is there is always a bigger fish. I'm green senior. I haven't done my gradings in ages. I'll be honest with you, I suck at kata. I suck at kata. I am too impatient. Memorizing kata, I am too impatient. Yeah. I got fucked once because I was going for a grading and my kata wasn't up to standard. And so I was going for my green... Okay, so the reason I went for my green senior was I wanted to compete in the open division. Because if you want to compete internationally, you have to be in the open division. To qualify for the open division, you have to be green senior or above. And so to qualify for green senior, I had to get my green senior. And I sucked at my katas. And like I could do the other stuff. I'm just lazy. I'll be honest. I am lazy to, you know, memorize it. Because one, you have to memorize the name of the kata, and I suck with names. And so my strategy with kata is I always see the people move in the front row, and then as soon as I see them move, I know exactly which kata they're doing. So I can memorize all of the movements, I just can't for the life of me remember the name, which is the bane to my existence. But luckily, I can see the way people are moving, and I know automatically which technique they're doing, and as soon as you start the first, second technique, you sort of know what they're doing. So I can memorize the movesets, I just suck with the names, which becomes a problem when you're doing the later gradings and you're actually at the front, you have no one to look at. So if you don't memorize the names, you're basically fucked. But I can't memorize names because I'm an idiot. So anyways. And so I needed to do my green senior grading. I could do the fighting, I could do the techniques, I could do all that stuff. I could do the fitness exam easy. The problem was I couldn't do the katas. Hunchy knew this. So he made sure I knew the katas. He made me do the first one until it was perfect. Then he made me do the second one until it was perfect. Then he made me do the first one again to make sure it was perfect. Then he made me do the third one until it was perfect. Then made me do the second one and first one to make sure they were also perfect. He then gave me the fourth to do until it was perfect. Then he made me do the third, second, and first until it was perfect. He then made me do the fifth one until it was perfect, followed by the fourth, third, second, first. You could see where this was going. At the end of the 2 hours, I knew those katas. I got my belt. I fucking hate katas. Anything but that. You watched the green senior grading and it was intense? Yeah, I mean, like, I could... See, going through it, thinking of the black belt grading, everything except the katas, I could probably do. The katas just suck. Which will probably be like your techniques crap. Probably, but I could probably execute the individual techniques. The problem is I have to memorize the kata and do them in that sequence. Which, if you could do it properly, because the kata tests a lot more than your balance and your technique. It also tests your timing, your positioning, your weight distribution, your flow. It tests all of that. And if anything is lacking, it is going to be perfectly obvious. Because you're going to have multiple people doing the same thing. And if you're all perfectly in sync doing it properly, you're going to be moving together. It's almost going to look like a dance. You're all going to be synchronized. And then it's like, good. If anyone makes a mistake, it is obvious. If anyone's timing is wrong, it's obvious. I remember one time, it's after that time when I was going for my green senior, we started doing a kata. And we started, and I was unfortunately in one of the front rows. And we basically, you start on the left, you go punch, you turn around, you punch, you go left, and then you kick. I kicked with my right. Everyone else kicked with their left. And I was for a second like, oh, fuck. And so I went, next one was the left. They all kicked with the right. Like, oh, fuck. Because if I change it now, I am fucked. So I was like, I'm sure this is the one. And I ended up completing the kata, and we went back into formation. I was perfectly in line with everyone. And I was doubting myself for a minute going, did I fuck up? And then Hunchy literally just walked down from the stage and is like, you're all going for green senior, except only one of you knew which leg to use. And I was like, thank God. So it turned out all the other fuckers did the wrong kick. They used the fucking wrong leg. And I was like, I shit bricks. Because everyone's watching. I was just like, I was shitting bricks the entire fucking kata. And I was like, oh God. Luckily, I passed that grading, but I shit bricks. And the worst part was I could see some of my senpai on the side. They were kind of like talking and snickering, and when that happened, they were like talking to each other. And that didn't help the fact that I was doubting myself. I was like, oh no. Like, I will never live this down. Like, they will fuck me up. Like, I will never live this down till the end of time. And then it was like, no, they all fucked up. And I was like, oh, thank God. How many were there? I think it was in the line, there was like 5 people or 6 people going for that. Because there's like, certain grades get tested on certain kata, but then they ask certain grades to sit it out. Because if you had everyone doing the kata, there would be too many people. So you want to make sure there's enough room for the people to go up and down. So like the guys that are going for Shodan, Nidan, Sandan, you're not going to ask them to do the first, second, third, fourth, fifth kata, right? Because like, if they can't do it, what the fuck? But you get what I mean, right? So it was just, I think it was like us, and then it was like the green belts behind us as well, whatever. But it was just like, oh God. Whew. You see, I'm getting nervous just thinking about it. See, I hate my katas. Fuck that shit. Like, I remember we were entering a Goku Ryu tournament. It was here in the Rocks in Sydney. And they're cool because they have really big trophies. But they have got like a kata division, a non-contact division, a semi-contact division, and a full contact division. And when you enter the tournament, you can enter as many divisions as you want. Like, so I wanted to enter the full contact, but I could also enter all these other ones. And so I was like, okay, I'll do semi-contact as a warm-up, because you're allowed to make contact, but you're not allowed to like put weight behind it. So I'm like, okay, I'll use that as a warm-up. And I was like, fuck it, while I'm here, let's do the non-contact and the kata. And so I ended up doing the kata tournament. And, like, oh, what katas do I know? I'll just do the first one. So I did the first kata tournament, and I think I got a silver trophy. The guy that got the gold trophy was this guy from New Zealand. He had the tribal tattoos on his face. Like the Maori tribal tattoos. And his technique was flawless. His balance, his snap at the end of the technique, his weight, it was fucking flawless in the kata. And I was like, holy shit. And then I watched him in the non-contact. He was like fucking amazing. And then I saw him in the semi-contact, and he was really good. And then I got to fight him in the non-contact, and I'm like, I'm in for a hell of a fight. And then I started fighting him, and then I noticed a bit of hesitation. I'm like, is he luring me in? Is he getting me to drop my... Like, what's going on here? And then I noticed, holy shit. He's scared. His technique... He would have floored me. Had he had the... You know what I... You know when someone has, like, all the technique. They have everything they need. They just don't have that instinct to just, you know what, like, he can do it, but he just doesn't have it in him to hurt the other person. It was basically that. And I was a little bit like, can I fight this guy? Like, you know what I mean? It was that awkward, it was that real, like, fuck, do I hit this guy? Like, what? It's kind of a weird space to be in, you know? Like, if the guy's hitting you, you can hit him back. But I was a bit like, oh. It took me back to the first time I fought when I was scared shitless. I remember that. Oh, that was a fun first time. The first time you go on the mat and the other guy's looking at you and he wants to fight and you're like, fuck. Lucky for me, the guy I was fighting was shitting himself just as much as I was, but it's fucking intense. I think that's the real reason why they make you fight before you get your belts. You need to get it out of the way nice and early. Because if you get into a high belt without having any fighting experience and you go up against a guy that's been fighting for 5 years, you'll get your ass kicked and you'll be traumatized and you'll never want to fight again. So put the beginners with the beginners, put the intermediate with the intermediates, and put like the people that want to beat the fuck out of each other into the open division. Let them kill each other. Just sell snacks at the door. Is it ever too late to get into martial arts? Nope. You could do it at any age. Just make sure you manage any injuries. Like, if you have injuries, don't go into a full contact fight. But if you manage your injuries and everything, you can still practice martial arts. You know, but you're just going to be honest with yourself and your body, right? Like, if you have injuries that could get worse if they get impact, make sure they don't get impact by, like, if you're sparring with people, I always ask, like, do you have any injuries? And they just tell me straight away, like, oh, I've got this bruise here, I've got a cracked rib here, or my knee hurts here. I'm like, cool, not touching that spot. Like, you're there to learn, right? Sparring is a whole other game versus training. Well, sparring is a part of training. Competing is a different thing. You see, there's a difference between sparring and shiai. Shiai is like you fight to win. Sparring is like you fight to learn, right? And you go to whatever level the other guy is confident with, and you're there to push each other. You're there to like test each other, right? You're there to learn. Because if you don't have the other guy, you don't have anyone to practice with. So don't be a dick. Like, I don't really like people being dicks. Like, if I see someone pushing someone else around, I just want to go beat them up to teach them a lesson, you know? Like, because that's not what it's about. You need someone to be there to keep you on your toes. Because if they're not there, how are you going to learn? Like, you can learn all the techniques, but you need someone to take your measure, right? You need someone to point out that, hey, your balance is off. Or your feet are too fast spread and you're leaving yourself open. Or you're too slow to, you know, put your foot back down. Or your guard's too low, you know? I got to sweep you across the head. Like, you need someone to point that out. And once someone points that out, you're like, oh, fuck, shit, you know? But you also need someone to do that without knocking you out, you know? Like, if your guard's down and he, like, taps you on the head, it's like, hey, I would have got you. It's like, oh, shit, I got to keep my arms up, you know? Or if you put him up too much and some guy, like, punches you here, it's like, mate, you got to watch your guard because, you know, I can hit you. It's, you know, you need someone to be there. Black belt full contacts are always fun to watch. Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially the good ones. Especially when the international fighters come in. Fuck, that's a show. Like, I remember a lot of times the fighters from Japan, so the Japanese national team comes over to get, you know, their practice in before international tournaments. And then we had the German national team come at the same time. And then we had the Chinese national team. It's like, oh yeah, welcome to the Australian, you know, national tournament featuring the Japanese national team, the German national team, and the Chinese national team. It's like, fuck, man, this is one hell of a tournament. It's like fucking round 1 and round 2 of the world tournament, you know? It's really good. It's a lot of good fun. And that's the best time to get your measure. Because you're going to fight guys that fight completely differently from what you do in your country. Fuck, they fight so differently. There's a lot of difference. There's a lot of difference. It's amazing. That's where you learn. And then you talk to them afterwards and like you grab a drink and, you know, you swap training styles. How do you guys condition? I saw you do this, or like you hit me with that. How'd you do it? And they show you how you do it and you go, fuck, this just blows my mind. I would have never thought of that. No one in this country does that. And you just pointed something out, just blows my mind. That's martial arts, innovation, learning, challenging yourself. That's what it's all about. And you can't do that if you don't have people. That's why you don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. I want to learn martial arts, but there are no dojos in my area, nor is there anyone to teach me, sadly. I know the basics on how to defend myself. There must be some style somewhere. There must be something. There must be something. Let's take it offline in Discord, but there must be something. There's different schools of martial art. You know, I'm not going to say this one's better than that. But there must be something somewhere. There must be something. It's very rare to be in an area where there's absolutely nothing. All right, guys, we need to take a quick little break before the final 2 episodes. What's the plan? The plan, as always. We're going to take over the world. All right, quick little break, and we're going to do the last 2 episodes. We've got plenty of time. We're going to do the last 2 episodes. If we push a little bit, it's okay. We do it all the time. We do it all the time.
Hey, did I hand you a shrinking potion by accident? I could have sworn that was the gender swapping one.
Don't be hating. She's fun sized, that's all. She doesn't even have to get on her knees to blow.
You want to add anything to that conversation?
Nope, I'm good. In fact, I think your new size makes you an even more formidable and stealthy ninja.